day is Ray. Today is Sunday, May 19th, 2024 for me. Another day of learning and growing. Hope that you, your family, friends, and loved ones are doing well and staying safe. So, before I begin, this video is not a travel vlog. I don't do a tour of Chicago, show you all the beautiful sights. This is just my past week in Chicago and, just kind of thinking through of the entire experience and give you an idea of what it's like to travel with some anxiety, after having not flown in 6 years. Okay, so this past week, started May 12th, I had left, went out of town to Chicago for an awards event with my company. And I found out about it a few months ago and have been a little bit nervous about it leading up to it and the type of preparation it will take to pull this off. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I was diagnosed with lupus 5 years ago this month. And that whole thing, I'll talk about it in previous videos. But anyway, I was 50 pounds lighter. I was in and out of the hospital 6 times in less than 2 years. Finances were a mess. COVID happened, went on lockdown for a couple of years. And so I've had a lot of anxiety about taking this trip. But the one thing, if you know me, the one thing about me is that I always approach things with a lot of preparation. So once I found out that I got this award and that I'd be going to Chicago, I have an app that shows you how many days until an event will happen, or how many days have passed since that event. And so I set that timer, and that was day one. And I said, okay, so I've got to do a couple things. I got to kind of pre-plan, get my mind right. But even that didn't fully help me because I had a lot of things in place ready to go. But the day before I started thinking, I was like, I'm probably going to need some wipes, some not the alcohol wipes, but cleaning wipes for the room. And some of the things that I touch, I'm immunocompromised, so I want to make sure that I don't get sick on this trip. And there were a few other items that I had to pick up before I left, and so I did that the day before my flight. Okay, now it's May 12th. That morning, I caught an Uber. Actually, it was closer to the afternoon. I caught an Uber to my parents' house. I spent Mother's Day with my mom and my younger brother, and my dad came after work. Shortly after my dad got to the house, my younger brother, and my dad took me to the airport, and went ahead and made my way through TSA. I have TSA pre-check, so that didn't take long, and the gate was very close to my gate was very close to a security checkpoint. So by the time I got seated, they were already seated in the gate. They had just got back home, so it didn't take long at all. I'm sitting there. I have my double mask, wearing N95 and a medical mask over top of that. Nothing unusual about that. I saw a few people around wearing masks. Right off the bat, my anxiety level jumped just a little bit because somebody sat down like almost in front of me, directly in front of me, and then just started coughing up a storm. And I was like, okay, all right, okay. I'm not gonna get my nasty look. I'm gonna just immediately jump up and run away. So I sat there and I said, okay, well, it's kind of, stuck, just this sort of nervous energy. And I'm surrounded by a lot of people, so there weren't a lot of chairs open anyway. This was late at night. My flight didn't leave till 10:55 p.m. And then I said, okay, let me go ahead and just grab my bag and get ready to move. Then I heard her say something. She said she forgot a certain medication that helps you suppress coughing. But I think it was more, this medication in particular is for somebody who has asthma. And so I said, okay, all right. Nothing to freak out or panic about. I'm just going to sit here. And I was feeling, not sorry for her, but I could, feel her pain and dealing with that. And, just it reminded me that I have to have, compassion. I have compassion for everybody, so that's not an issue. But, not to jump to conclusions real quickly. But, if somebody's in my space and it's obvious that they're sick or they're just coughing a lot, then I'm still got to take precautions and get believed. But in that situation, I didn't, because I heard what was going on and felt a little bit more comfortable. But, okay, that's enough of that. Got on the plane, left for Chicago. I was there at a little bit after midnight. At O'Hare Airport. Now, if you've ever been to O'Hare, I don't want to judge it, but I think the layout was pretty difficult to figure out. And I went and got my bag. I wasn't too far from baggage claim, but then I had to get an Uber to the hotel. And they have a ride share area like 1,000 miles from everything else. I mean, it's in a completely different terminal. And so I opened my app and they gave directions as to how to get there, and that was a little bit confusing. They said, go upstairs or downstairs, I forget which way. Get on the train and then go to Terminal 2. So I went upstairs, got on the train, and it took me to Terminal 2A. I was like, okay, so it must be close. Nope. The train went back the same direction, went back to where I was, Terminal 5, and I'm like, wait a second, what the heck am I doing? And then I heard somebody say, yeah, it's going the right way, everything's fine. And it was either the next terminal or the terminal after that. It finally got me to Terminal 2. I got up to the terminal, just start basically following everybody, because I'm like, okay, they're probably doing the same thing, so let me just follow them. Went downstairs, and then I noticed signs for rideshare. So I looked at my app and I said, go to this area. And so I went to the area, but it turned out to be the wrong area. I think it said area number 2, whatever. This story has become a little bit too longer than I wanted it to be. So I had to walk a little bit more. I walked. I was walking a lot. Called my Uber, got an Uber, and then it's about a 45 minute car ride to the hotel. Had a good conversation with a young man that took me there. Young man trying to figure out his way. I didn't really give him career advice, but I told him that I kind of gave him a brief synopsis of my story, for lack of a better term, as to what I've experienced career-wise, and kind of taking chances, learning as much as you can. And he appreciated that, and I was on my way. Gave him a nice tip. Got to the hotel at 1 a.m. Now, this is when I wasn't sure if I wanted to check in or wait till closer to 3 o'clock to check in, 3 p.m. I said, forget it. I'm going to check in. I'm not going to wait in the hotel lobby. I was just super tired. I was a little bit in pain. And checked in, but because I did that, I had to pay for 2 nights instead of just the 1. And this was an expensive hotel, even with a company discount. I said, well, I've got the money. I budgeted for the trip. I said, okay, this is how much I'm willing to spend. Hopefully I don't spend nearly close to that amount. Well, because I got that extra day, I spent darn near every single penny of the money that I took with me on a vacation. Speaking of which, I'm sorry, before I get to that, got checked in, it's a beautiful hotel, not too far from Lake Michigan, not too far from the Navy Pier, and some of the events that we did, Millennium Park, if you're familiar with the area. So got checked in, went upstairs, put my bags down. I was in the same clothes that I wore, and I just, not these clothes, but the same clothes that I flew in. I laid down in bed. It was probably closer to 2 at this time, and I was thinking already, I said I got to take my medications at 4 a.m. because I'm an hour behind. And so I got about an hour worth of sleep, and woke up, took my first set of medications at 4 a.m. Didn't have any food in the hotel room, and nothing was going to be open until like 6 or 7. So I had my 5 a.m. medications without a meal. Waited till, I want to say about 6, and went downstairs and got something. And that was that. That same day, which was now Monday, did some grocery shopping. As soon as there was a store that opened not too far from me, I had scoped these things out. I had found a grocery store close to the hotel like a month before I even traveled. Went to the grocery store, looked at the prices, and said, "This is ridiculous. I'm only going to get a few things here and see if I can find something else." Got the groceries, went to the room, put it in the refrigerator and microwave that they provided especially for me. And that was it. So I had only gotten like an hour of sleep in 2 days. But I said to myself, I'm only going to be in Chicago. Who knows if I'm ever going to go back to Chicago. And I was there on a mostly paid trip. Excuse me 1 second. I'm just going to pause. Yeah, so I was there on a mostly paid trip. I mean, my plane tickets were paid for, 3 nights hotel stay. Most of the meals that were paid for. So I'm like, okay, when am I ever going to come back and have an opportunity to do something like this? So I decided that I was going to go to the Art Institute of Chicago. The museum, and it wasn't that far walking distance, at least I thought it wasn't. I don't have the exact distance it was less than a mile, but I was running on fumes. Basically, I was a little bit pain with the walking that I had done just a few hours before through the airports, and I was like, it's a gorgeous day. Let me go ahead and get out and do this. So the place opened up at 11 a.m. And I said, let me just give it a go. Start walking from the hotel. And on the way from the hotel to the museum is Millennium Park. And I'm going to see if I can post some pictures on this part of the video, as well as a clip. But it has this gorgeous, pavilion in the park. I'm not sure if it's the center of the park or wherever. J. Pritzker Pavilion, performing area, and stayed there for a little while at Botanical Gardens. Walked around, just kind of looked around. So this was probably 10 a.m. that I was doing this. Stayed in the park for about 40 minutes before I made my way to the Art Institute of Chicago. Got there a few minutes before they opened, walked in, bought my ticket, and then I spent maybe two hours there. Yeah, because I had lunch a little bit late. I had it at 1 a.m. So yeah, I spent 2 hours there, walking around, checking out the sculptures, the paintings, and just kind of really just, I didn't see hardly, I didn't see a lot of the museum, but the parts that I saw made me miss going to museums. That's one of the things I really enjoyed doing in the past, was going to museums. And I felt like, I was like, you know what, I could probably do this when I get back home. Let's go to the museum. Because it was very peaceful. I got a chance to just, read about the artist's work and just really kind of take it in. And that's just something that I like doing. And I'll post some pictures of some of the exhibits that I saw. That was a challenge for me because I had been around people like that, just walking around, and but I didn't feel like I was going to run away. I just felt like I'm here. I really like this, and I could definitely see myself doing something like this again, or even going to the zoo or whatever, being out and about more, because I hadn't been out and about probably in the past 5 years like this. Well, actually, hadn't been out since before getting sick and being diagnosed with lupus. So this was good. Okay, so went back to the hotel after that day was done. I had dinner. Unfortunately, I got room service. That was super expensive, but I didn't really have any options at that time because I didn't buy anything for dinner. I bought stuff for breakfast, and that was day one. Okay, so that night, fell asleep, woke up, and then I started looking around for another grocery store. There was actually an Amazon Go not too far from there that you can go into the store. I believe you had to have an Amazon account. That may not be true. I think I saw later where anybody can go, but they have to have a regular checkout. So anyway, you go to the store, you bag items, food, drinks, whatever, to throw them in the bag. You walk into the store, swipe your barcode or whatever, your QR code. Walk in. I was super confused. I asked the guy who was there at the store stocking. I said, how does this work? What do I do? I just put stuff in the bag. He's like, yeah, just put stuff in your bag and then you just walk out. Like, you don't scan it or anything? Like, no. So I just started putting stuff in the bag and, still kind of paranoid, and walked up to the gate. The gate opened, walked out, and went on my way. But it was like 2 hours later, I looked at the card that I charged it to, and then I saw the pending transaction for that Amazon Go. I was like, how in the heck did they figure out what I took out? So I'm saying this. I said that to say this, is that they're watching. I'm kidding. It was a super cool thing. Still, stuff was very expensive. I think it was the area, though. It was a very expensive part of Chicago. And we got out of there, got a few things for the next couple of days. It was good to go. Before I went home, no, I'm sorry, that was the first thing I did before I went back to the hotel on that, now it would have been a Tuesday. I went to the Amazon Go, went back to the hotel, put my stuff in there, started kind of planning for the rest of the day. I was in a lot of pain because I walked a lot on Monday. And, so I was like, am I going to do anything today on Tuesday? I decided not to do much on Tuesday because the next day, the Wednesday, we were going to go on a riverboat tour. So I wanted to be just ready to go. Okay. So got back to the hotel, started looking around for food places to eat. Didn't want to get room service again. I got it twice again. The last time was paid by my company. So I found a Subway sandwich shop, like not even a block from where I was. I said, okay, as soon as they open, I'm going to go and get 2 sandwiches. Now I had a deal, buy one, get one half off. So I got 2 of the same sandwiches, tuna sandwiches. I had one for that day and then one for the next day. So that was a way for me to save money, and that was fantastic. I got that done. Tuesday was the day that everybody else was flying in. So I was already there. I had a day under my belt. We had a get together that evening at a restaurant. This was a little bit further than I cared to walk, so I caught a shuttle with some other people to the restaurant. And now this restaurant was like starting off at like $50 a plate, but I didn't want to eat around a lot of people, so I said, okay, I'm going to show up, say hello, greet everybody, and then hopefully catch the next shuttle back to the hotel. Well, the next shuttle wouldn't leave till we got there at 6. The next shuttle wouldn't leave till 9 p.m. So I'm like, no, I'm just going to walk back. I'm in pain. Walked back to the hotel a few blocks. Got back to the hotel. This was probably 6:30, 7 o'clock. And then took a shower, got ready for bed, lay down. That was it. The next day was a day full of events, meetings, getting to get with the group that was being celebrated, that was flown all the way across the country. We had somebody even from Alaska come and be there at the event. It was cool. Again, I'm double masked, surveying the room, seeing everybody, interact with people, play some games, get to know each other and all that. Had lunch, and that was the end. Actually, we didn't spend that much time that day doing a lot of meetings and networking, because that afternoon we did something called the official Chicago Architecture Center River Cruise. I got the ticket, and that was awesome. That was pretty amazing. Out of all the things that I would have thought about to do in Chicago, that wouldn't have been one of those. But after being on that boat going through the river, and even getting as close up to Lake Michigan, and having someone tell us about the history, the architecture of all the different buildings along the river, is incredible. Beautiful day, weather was perfect. The guide even said of all the days she's given tours that year, that was the best day of weather that they've had. So we're very fortunate to have it. Blue skies, weather was perfect, and just learning about the history and about the design of the buildings and what it took to do that was just incredible. And if you ever go to Chicago, I would definitely suggest that. Now, the price of the ticket wasn't that bad. I didn't pay for it, the company did. It was so it's 2024, $32. The tour is about an hour and 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. And they have beverages on the boat. I didn't get any. I sat at the front of the boat, had an unobstructed view of the Chicago skyline, and really enjoyed that. That was the highlight of my trip. Okay, so gonna wrap up that day. I had my medications at the bulk of my medications at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. So I didn't eat dinner with the group. I had dinner separately. I had my dinner, and then that was the end of my day. Thursday we had meetings for the bulk of the day. And at the end of the day, we had a ceremony to celebrate everybody's accomplishment, for achieving, for getting this recognition and honor, which it was. I never would imagine doing this, but ultimately, the point that I want to express in this video is that I was very, very, very anxious and nervous and scared, and wasn't sure if that I was going to be able to do this trip, to be honest. I think the biggest thing about it is that I hadn't traveled after COVID has been introduced. I hadn't caught COVID. I'm immunocompromised. I was worried that, what if I catch COVID and I get hospitalized? And what would that do to me financially, mentally? Would it be bad for me? Would it be bad on me? Would I be hospitalized? Whatever. I would say I made it through the week. Friday was when I went to the airport, and I flew out, and I was delayed. Got home well after midnight. My dad picked me up 1 a.m. I had to get a wheelchair from the gate to the baggage claim area, and that was the first time I had to do that. I was in a lot of pain. Went home, slept for a few hours, had breakfast, came back here. Thought I was going to do a lot yesterday, but I ended up sleeping. So I had a lot of anxiety, and I do have, some regrets that I didn't get to do a little bit more. But then I know myself, I had to listen to my body and say, okay, you're just not going to be able to do this. You got to rest, or you may be stuck in Chicago for a day extra because you can't get up and walk, which has happened in a previous situation where I was in a hotel and I was in so much pain I had to extend my trip by a day. This was me prior to being diagnosed with lupus. And the one thing I do want to say is that I didn't take a lot of photos or video because I wanted to just be in the moment. I wanted to just kind of take it in and see the moment for what it was. I saw a lot of people with cameras up and just, taking videos for it to be their memory, but I said I want it to just be something I remember, something that I say, okay, this was a huge hurdle for me, was able to jump through that, and to feel good about sticking with the plan and not backing off, not backing down. I could have said no to this, but I decided to take on the challenge, and I really like to even thank my boss for nominating me for this recognition. That was huge. I don't feel like I deserved it. It's definitely giving me more energy, recharged me. I'm ready to go in next week with a renewed energy and focus, and just kind of see what's next. This was a long video, the longest video I've made, and I do apologize for that. If you made it this far, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you'll know when I post my videos. You can find me at youtube.com/@lupuslifestyle. As always, thank you for watching. Hope you all take care.
Thank you.